Okay, so boom. I started snooping around my own history, right? Like full-on detective mode, but with zero training and way too much confidence. Ended up chasing my ancestors like I was on some budget version of Finding Your Roots. And where it led me? Plot twist city. You already know I couldn't not ask questions. So, welcome to the very first episode of What's on Your Mind? I'm here for the juicy facts, old school history tea, and a healthy dose of psychology to figure out if my great-great-uncle was just quirky or definitely an occult. First question. How many African Americans were accused of witchcraft during the witch trials? I went full Wikipedia warrior and fell into a rabbit hole. Turns out, during the 1692 Salem witch trials, at least 3 enslaved women of African descent got tangled up in the mess: Tituba, Mary Black, and Candy. Tituba was the season premiere of The Witch Hunt. Described as Afro-Caribbean or indigenous, she confessed under extreme pressure, spinning a dramatic tale that launched Salem into a full-on panic spiral. But she never got a trial and eventually walked free. Mary Black and Candy got swept up in the drama too, with Candy even bringing magical dolls to court. But guess what? Both of them got released. Meanwhile, a whole bunch of white folks got caught in the witch hunt blender and didn't make it. It's giving divine protection. Makes you wonder who the real witches were. So what was the role of race? It wasn't just floating candles, it was racism with a splash of mass hysteria. Tituba was an enslaved woman of color in a society where anything foreign was considered sus. Salem wasn't just scared of witches, it was scared of difference. And this colonial drama was global. In Colombia, Spain, and Brazil, people of color were targeted because their identities and spiritual traditions didn't fit the colonizer playbook. Why was African religion questioned as witchcraft? European colonizers played spiritual judge and jury, labeling African beliefs as demonic to feel better about stealing land and building empires. African religions were powerful and community-forming. Colonizers saw that power, hit panic mode, and started the stereotype of the Black Witch. Bottom line, African religions weren't evil, they were empowering. And the system couldn't handle that glow-up, so it tried to shut it down. So when did enslaved people stop practicing their traditions? They didn't. They adapted, transformed, and ninja'd their traditions to survive. Enslavers pushed Christianity and outlawed drumming and dancing. But Africans went stealth mode. In the U.S., they created invisible churches, blending African spirituality with Christian freedom vibes. In places like Haiti and Brazil, religions like voodoo and candomblé flourished. The form changed, but the spirit never died. Let's get this straight about voodoo and hoodoo. They are not evil. Voodoo is a legit religion rooted in West African spiritual genius. It's about honoring spirits and balancing the world. Zero devil worship involved. Hoodoo is a spiritual toolkit born in the U.S. South, using herbs and rituals for healing and protection. The whole evil magic narrative came from colonizers who couldn't understand African spiritual swag. Were enslaved folks brainwashed into believing their traditions were evil? Yes. It was psychological colonization. Missionaries preached that ancestral practices meant eternal doom. Over time, some folks internalized the hate, fearing their own heritage. After freedom, generational whiplash made it hard to fully return to old ways. Plus, Black churches had become empowerment headquarters. But the flame didn't die. They didn't return to African traditions by name because they never left. You hear it in the drums of the church, you taste it in the food, you feel it in the ancestral rhythm. Today, these traditions are center stage. People are reconnecting with religions like Ifa and practices like hoodoo for healing and protection. African culture is moonwalking into the mainstream through music, fashion, and food like jollof and gumbo. Herbal wisdom is hot girl healing, and ancestral storytelling is rewriting the narrative. African religions weren't evil, they were powerful. Through invisible churches and ancestral flavors passed through rice and rhythm, those traditions never died. They morphed, they survived, and today, they're thriving. This ain't just revival, it's spiritual revenge with style. The ancestors didn't fold, they remixed. Stay curious, stay sacred, And remember, history hits different when you hear it from the spirits who lived it.